miaka 18 hadi miaka 21. Sheria mpya ni kwamba kutekelezwa kwa dhati waliokaidi kukamatwa na kuadhibiwa kisheria, na watu milioni 1.36 wameathirika na uraibu wa pombe kulingana na Nacada.
Zaidi ya milioni 1.
Zaidi ya milioni 1. Nacada wamesema.
Okay.
Lakini this is still a recommendation, it's not a policy yet. So you are allowed to debate on it.
Well, but if Nacada comes up with this as the official government policy, it's more or less done. Okay, fine, legislation will be there to try and give a proper framework on how to do it. But ni kama serikali the intention is there. This is what we intend to do.
Shall make up their mind.
We've already made up their mind.
But you know, now the question is, people are asking if at all they're aiming towards just reducing the alcohol intake in the country. Sana sana kwa wale wadogo. But will it actually work? Because if you're looking at what wanaingia club are 18 years and above, will that also go up to 21 years?
Definitely, because now, if at all this place is purely for selling alcohol, then as a person under 21, if at all it becomes law, you wouldn't be allowed there.
Alright, vidokezo zaidi. Fumbo la Kalombotole, huyu ni yule mshukiwa wa mauaji ya wagonjwa wawili katika hospitali ya KNH, anasalia kuwa kitendawili kwa taifa, si tu baada ya jina lake Kennedy Kalombotole kuibuka, bali pia baada ya upekuzi kubaini sehemu ya utambulisho wake. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa pili wa gazeti hili. At least si sawa na angalau. Wametukumbusha tena.
At least si sawa na angalau.
Wanasema pata uhondo wa Kiswahili katika jarida lako pendwa la lugha na fasihi. Ukisema at least, usiseme si sawa na pia sio angalau. Marupurupu ya walimu bado yapo, malipo ya mazingira magumu kikazi hayajafutwa. Na kule juu, wabunge wa serikali Kisii ni helikopta tu, wandani wa Ruto kutoka Kisii ni ndege na hoteli za kifahari. Masala ya spoti CHAN, timu zote kundi A za wasili. Kenya itaonana na Morocco, Angola, DRC na Zambia kuanzia Agosti tarehe 2. Gazeti la Taifa Leo.
Tukiangazia gazeti la People Daily, same headline, different words. Nacada gets drunk on beer. And I like the play of words there. The agency sets out tough rules that could not only criminalize alcohol use, but also kill the industry. And I think this is it raises quite some fundamental issues on whether or not some of those proposals go against any provisions of our constitution, especially, okay, fine, on the issue of age, 21 years. Are you discriminating on the basis of age, which the constitution says you shouldn't? Yeah, matters privacy. Mimi nikitaka furahia uraibu wangu nyumbani, mbona mnanikataza? Okay, fine, but we'll discuss that. Yeah, places where beer sale will be banned if proposed national policy for the management and control of alcohol and drugs abuse is implemented. They've listed all that on the front page of the People Daily. So definitely, hata kama walisema, Nacada came out yesterday after the argument had really gone on social media to give a clarification. I said, no, this is a policy proposal.
Yeah.
We still need legislative framework, new laws to actually govern this. But then again, remember Mutudo laws. Your requirement of 300 meters from where you're selling alcohol to a school has been there. Issue ni, is it being enforced? So even if you keep repeating the same law over and over after every 10 years, unasaidia nani?
Sasa ukikuwa na bar hapo and then somebody comes and build a church after you have a bar there, what happens to your business?
Or if I build a bar here and then someone puts up a residential building right next after 10 years, does it mean I fold up my business and move?
Well,
how a new breed of leaders is shaking Kenya. Na wameweka picha pale Morara Kebaso. Become very vocal, squeezy. By the way, Kasmuel Makore is back from the US.
For what?
He's back home now.
For what?
Ati for what? Sinim Kenya. Tanzania's move to jeopardize 107 billion shilling trade with Kenya. At least this story finds itself on the front pages again. Hasira ili move kutoka kwa Tanzania ikaenda kwa masuala ya uraibu, lakini musisahau kuna shida pale. And I'm lucky to be alive, Munyako tells the country. He was with the Prime CS who's in charge of foreign affairs yesterday, following his return to Kenya. People Daily there.
Sawa. Daily Nation, uproar over new alcohol rules. Backlash reacting to public outcry. Nacada clarifies policy isn't law yet. A Nacada policy detailing tough rules, including banning the sale of alcohol in supermarkets and consumption in restaurants, drew furious reactions from industry players who warned implementation would ruin businesses, force government revenues to plummet and occasion job losses. Lakini wanasema maybe wanataka kutame, are they really taming unemployment?
Yeah, but industry players are claiming, I said, okay, how do you come up with a policy this extensive without involving us? Yani mulienda tu mkaketi chini, hamukuuliza sisi wenye tunafanya hii biashara, and then you come up with a policy.
Still a record.
Alafu anatuambia, okay, but there'll still be an opportunity for legislation, but it will be legislation around this policy. Hakuna new proposals itakuja. It is around the policy that is there. Anyway.
Once again, restrictions to alcohol access, 21 years, the minimum legal age for purchasing and consuming alcohol. Under 21 years cannot access alcohol selling outlets, whether alone or accompanied. Above 25 years, that is the age of persons allowed to advertise or endorse alcoholic drinks. Ban price promotions, discount sales and free alcohol, and movement of alcohol distribution vehicles restricted between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Oh, wow. All right. Vidokeza zaidi on the front page of the Daily Nation, war on graft, officials barred from government contracts, and president sign into law conflict of interest bill, which blocks public officers from bagging tenders floated by state agencies under their watch to curb graft.
And you get the feeling that there's been so much happening around new laws, like cabinet approved a story about regulation of churches and religious institutions. Now there's this signing into law the conflict of interest bill. But this ideally should be bigger headlines. But ni kama tumeenda sisi wote kwa pombe. Tukasahau hata Tanzania wametufungia boda.
Ama Wakenya ni walevi sana.
But I think I get the feeling kuna vitu vingi vitatupita wiki hii. Sababu ya this one.
Regional ties, Ruto, Museveni fault rising East African Commission trade wars, and a day after Tanzania banned foreigners from running select businesses, Ugandan and Kenyan leaders decry reluctance by EAC nations to open up markets to each other. Lakini nataka tunaongea na Tanzania, of course, to review that. What happens to other countries? Because this has affected all foreign nations.
Yes.
University freshers in fees crisis. That story is on page 4. They say 194,372 students who qualified for university admission. On the back page of this newspaper, Coach McCarthy ready to write history with Harambee Stars. Bring it on, Kenya captain Omar says team eager to test themselves in their first appearance. 2024 African Nations Championship, just 2 days to go.
All right.
That's the Daily Nation.
The Star also goes with the same story. Alcohol ban plan to strike traders and jobs hard because, yes, at least according to this paper, this will affect the industry extensively. When you say you're not selling alcohol in supermarkets, home deliveries, wale watu wamefanya kazi ya boda ya deliver alcohol, what happens to them? Restaurants, will it mean job losses for waiters, bartenders, and all these things? Even petrol stations.
Influencers too.
Influencers, they really complained. They wrote statements and statements on social media before Nacada clarified that, okay, fine, there's no ban. But then again, remember, the discussion will not be around any new piece of legislation or new policy. The policy is there, the proposed policy. Ata mukitwa public participation sasa, nothing new. Tuna discuss what is in the document, not anything else outside it. So yes, Nacada clarified that it is still a proposed policy that will be subject to discussions around proper legal framework, which will need legislation in Parliament. Industry insiders say the move will also undercut the digital economy. Pale chini, wanaita ODM splinter group now plans parallel activities. There's an event in Sabatia coming up. Imeleta tumbo joto. Wameka picha pale ya Edwin Sifuna mwenye alisoma ile statement, the official party position statement. Lakini anaenda ukule na anaenda na nani? Wale wanakuwa referred to as party rebels. Babu Wino, Kabela Misi, who's the host in Sabatia. Wilberforce Oundo and Anthony Kibagendi. So what statement will that be? Because they'll be accompanied by other MPs from those allied to the opposition like Gadhoni wa Mushomba and others. Na walikuwa wamesema Edwin Sifuna. Kuna mmoja ambaye atakuwa kwa paneli yangu leo alikuwa amesema ati smelling like wa Munyoro.
Baba alisema mwacheni Sifuna onge.
Mwacheni Sifuna onge. Fresh, independent, different. This is a Star. The main story there still matters alcohol.
All right. You want to take a look at the inside page?
I'm seeing a story about the president Paliju. Amesema, I'm not a bishop, I may correct Uganda's Museveni during address. Some is not a bishop, but when he retires, he's looking forward to becoming an evangelist. Some Uganda leader not sure where biblical reference he used was found.
Right.
Yes.
The Standard handout masters, they're here on the front page of the Standard, according to the Standard. Buying loyalty and our schools shut down and hospitals falter. Deputy President Kindiki spearheads a lavish campaign style handouts drive, dishing out as little as 64 shillings to desperate villagers while crisscrossing the country in choppers and fueling political patronage. Critics call it a cynical ploy to buy loyalty with public funds in a nation on the brink. The decision to kick off early campaigns 2 years before the election reeks of misprioritization and insensitivity. In the name of empowerment, they say 64 shillings in Kisii. A woman was asked to mobilize widows and brought 31 of them, but they were given only 2,000 shillings in total, meaning each received just 64 shillings.
Ashukuru Mungu. 64 shillings hakuwa nayo before that.
In some instances, residents have been forced to share just 2 kilograms of beans among themselves. In others, each attendee receives 2 kg of maize flour and an additional 250 Kenyan shillings.
Empowerment. Empowerment.
Handout masters, according to the Standard. Tanzania ban on foreign businesses rattles Kenyan entrepreneurs. Lakini our trade minister alisema for us to retaliate, that will be our very last resort.
I've seen inside the papers, they've actually formally protested this move by Tanzania. They don't want it to become a full-blown trade war. They could choose to go the EAC way, so that everything, at least within this region, is standardized. But Kenya too has a right to actually say, okay, fine, we can do this bilaterally between Kenya and Tanzania. Yeah. Okay, talk to us.
Why days are numbered for rogue clerics and cult-like churches, and the cabinet has approved recommendations from a president task force on religious organizations setting in motion a process to regulate church operations. On the back page, Ryan Ogam, the man Harambee Stars will be banking on for goals. That is the 2024 CHAN tournament. That is the Standard.
Matters business. Kenya risks asset seizures over 44 billion shilling Talanta bond. So Kenya risks this stadium-backed bond if the term of the sports fund is not extended beyond 2028. You know, securitization of some of these deals, meleta shida. An investor notice guiding the issuance of the bond reveals that failure to renew the term of the fund will be cited as default of the 15-year-old bond, and that the state will be required to pay the bondholders their money immediately. Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro has been very vocal on this. Mpaka akafutwa kazi kutoka Budget and Appropriations Committee this week. Sports fund to be deemed a defaulter if term not renewed. Bondholders pay out to hit 102 billion shillings in 15 years. Remember, it is 44 billion. Tutailipa more than double. Insurers protesters, Nairobi hospital raises charges by up to 61%. It's already one of the most costly hospitals in Kenya. Hey, I tell you. On the ticker, Kenya looks to unlock World Bank's 97 billion shillings with conflict of interest law. That's why they needed to sign it into law immediately. Luxury safari camp acquisitions surge, and top 5 firms raise their share of NSE wealth to 67%. These are just some of the highlights in as far as business is concerned. You can read more in the Business Daily.
Once again, on the state of the nation.
These 4 gentlemen, Kimone Kimone, Dr. Peter Mbaye, Wilson Sosion, and